to our guests who are joining us on the show. Adil Singh Boparai, spokesperson of the Congress party, is joining us. Pramod Swami, leader of the BJP, will be joining us shortly as well. Adil, do you think it's a case of an overreach by the minister that has boomeranged?
Maha, I see this as a confused government. I see this as a government which is working at cross purposes. I see this as an urban development minister, and let's not lose sight of the fact that land in Delhi comes under the urban development ministry. So if he's put out a tweet saying that we are providing residence to Rohingyas and that we will fulfill our obligations under the UN Charter, I think it is for him to clarify his position. Does this mean that the BJP government does not even interact amongst its own ministers? I think it's a global embarrassment. You have a government where the urban development minister is saying one thing, who happens to be formally a diplomat as well. And then you have the home ministry saying something completely diametrically opposite. So I think the onus is on the government of India to clarify its position as to what do they indeed seek to implement. What is their position?
All right.
Are they going to follow the international obligations under the UN refugee policy, or are they going to be deporting that? If they are going to be deporting them, what steps have been taken by the External Affairs Ministry? All this has to be clarified by the government of the day.
All right. So let me try and get a response from the BJP. Pramod Swami is here with us on the show. Pramod Swami ji, आदिल कह रहे हैं, आदिल बोपाराय कांग्रेस पार्टी के, कि कंफ्यूज सरकार है. एक तरफ अर्बन डेवलपमेंट मिनिस्टर ने एक ट्वीट करा जिसमें उन्होंने कहा कि रोहिंग्या रेफ्यूजीज को एक घर मिलेंगे, ईडब्ल्यूएस फ्लैट्स मिलेंगे. दूसरी तरफ मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ होम अफेयर्स ने उनको रिफ्यूट किया. अब वो चाहते हैं कि मंत्री खुद आके क्लैरिफिकेशन दे. अभी तक मंत्री ने अपनी ट्वीट भी नहीं हटाई है.
देखिए, जब होम मिनिस्टर ने क्लैरिफिकेशन कर दिया तो उसके बाद में अब किसी और क्लैरिफिकेशन की आवश्यकता है, मैं नहीं.
लेकिन प्रमोद स्वामी जी, उनकी ट्वीट अभी तक हरदीप पुरी जी की ट्वीट वही की वही है, उससे कंफ्यूजन नहीं क्रिएट होता.
नहीं, मैंने पहले ही अपने मंतव्य में इस बात को क्लियर कर दिया कि जब होम मिनिस्टर ने एक चीज को क्लियर कर दिया है तो फिर इसको मुद्दा बनाने की कोई आवश्यकता नहीं है, क्योंकि जो भी रोहिंग्या है उनके बारे में जब तक कानून सम्मत कोई फैसला नहीं होता, क्योंकि हम उनको विदेशी मानते हैं और जब तक वो करेंगे क्योंकि वो नागरिक है नहीं, तो जो नागरिक नहीं है उनको कैसे आप वो अधिकार दे सकते हैं जो देश के नागरिकों.
लेकिन प्रमोद स्वामी जी, ये बात तो अर्बन डेवलपमेंट मिनिस्टर को बहुत क्लियरली पता होनी चाहिए थी. प्रमोद स्वामी जी, मेरी एक बात सुन लीजिए. प्रमोद स्वामी जी, एक बात सुन लीजिए. हरदीप पुरी जी सिर्फ एक मंत्री नहीं है, वो फॉर्मर आईएफएस ऑफिसर भी हैं. उन्हें ये पूरा कन्वेंशन पता है, जो रेफ्यूजी कन्वेंशन है, जिसका इंडिया सिग्नेटरी भी नहीं है.
मैं आपकी बात से सहमत हूं, मैंने इस बात से इनकार नहीं किया. उन्होंने ट्वीट किया बोल के ही तो आपको आज एक चर्चा करने का एक अवसर मिल गया, नहीं तो आप इस विषय पे आज चर्चा रखते ही नहीं, आप डिबेट रखते ही नहीं. लेकिन जब होम मिनिस्टर ने क्लियर कर दिया तो मेरे ख्याल से उसके बाद ने इसको मुद्दा बना.
Adil Singh Boparai, Pramod Swami is saying, why does a clarification need to come from the urban development minister? Now the home ministry has already clarified.
Well, Maha, the gentleman is very limited understanding. Let's get the facts before us first. Number one, land in Delhi comes under the urban development ministry. Number two, it is not that the home minister is the boss of the urban development minister. They're all members of the union cabinet. They stand on the same pedestal. And once the urban development ministry puts out a tweet, obviously it is not somebody's case that he's mindlessly putting out a tweet. Obviously there must be some decision, there must be some file which must be moved in the urban development ministry. It is not that the urban development minister, which is a very critical ministry, puts out tweets randomly and then the home minister comes and contradicts him. So as far as the Congress party is concerned, we seek clarity. And in such a situation where you have two ministries who are working at cross purposes, ordinarily it would be incumbent on the Prime Minister of the country to resolve this and put out before the country, and not just the country. Hardeep Puri has tagged the United Nations organizations. I think it's important that he must put this out before it turns out to be a global embarrassment for India on the global stage.
But don't you
the government of India must have a coherent policy, whatever they might be.
Adil Singh Boparai, don't you find it surprising that Hardeep Puri, who's in the know of what his party stand has been on this issue, what his government stand has been on this issue, what the Ministry of External Affairs has also said on the matter, he has been a former IFS officer, like I was pointing out to Mr. Pramod Swami as well. Do you find it surprising that he put out a tweet of this nature and linked it to CAA?
Well, please understand, Maha, the BJP is a party which thrives on divisiveness. So whether he links it with CA or he links them with other divisive policies, that's expected out of the BJP. So I think we should not be surprised there. But it is indeed bizarre. And why I use the adjective bizarre is that you have the Home Ministry consequently contradicting the Urban Development Ministry. Either there is some kind of shadow boxing which is going on. That could be one corollary or one deduction within the union government. Or I think it is incumbent on the Prime Minister's office to clarify. Because let's not simply say that this is some ordinary officer or somebody very low in the ladder or the hierarchy putting out this tweet. This is the Urban Development Minister, and Minister who's well regarded in the current dispensation. And the BJP, let me tell you, the BJP has a history and a track record of speaking in contradictions. For example, on the 15th of August, the Prime Minister from the August ramparts of the Red Fort spoke against misogyny and spoke against women empowerment. And then on the same day, you had the Gujarat state government granting remission to convicts, gang rape convicts, murderers. So therefore, of course, there is this chasm between what the BJP says and what the BJP does. And all their decision making is shrouded in secrecy. There is lack of transparency. There is complete opacity. So it is incumbent in such a situation where you have two union ministries taking a stark position. I think it is incumbent on the Prime Minister to clarify this.
Pramod Swami, Congress is saying कि क्योंकि इस केस में हरदीप पुरी ने एक ऐसे इशू को टच किया है जिसमें यूएन भी इन्वॉल्व है, जो एक ग्लोबल प्लेटफॉर्म पे भी लोग जिस इशू को देख रहे हैं, तो जरूरी है कि इसका क्लैरिफिकेशन वो कह रहे हैं कि होम मिनिस्ट्री से भी नहीं, वो चाहते हैं सीधे प्रधानमंत्री से आए।
नहीं, देखिए, कांग्रेस के लिए राजनीति प्रथम है, हमारे लिए राष्ट्र प्रथम है। ये कांग्रेस और हमारी नीति में अंतर है। दूसरी बात, 1985 में आसाम समझौता हुआ था। विदेशी भगाओ आंदोलन आसाम से ही शुरू हुआ था और 1985 में आसाम समझौता हुआ। 2014 तक वहां मनमोहन सिंह की सरकार थी। 35 बरस तक जो आसाम एकॉर्ड के 3D थे, डिटेक्ट, डिलीट एंड डिपोर्ट। पहला डी डिटेक्ट इन्होंने शिनाख्त तक नहीं की। तो ये संवेदनशीलता को दर्शाता है कि जिस पार्टी ने राजीव जी ने अकॉर्ड किया आसाम एकॉर्ड में और 30-35 सालों तक इन्होंने उस एकॉर्ड का प्रथम डी डिटेक्ट तक शिनाख्त तक नहीं किया, डिटेक्ट, डिलीट एंड रिपोर्ट 3 डी थे उसमें। तो उसके बाद में नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने आने के बाद में
नहीं, प्रमोद स्वामी जी, आप यहाँ पे क्या पॉइंट ला रहे हैं? आप कह रहे हैं क्या कि ये वोट बैंक पॉलिटिक्स करती आई है कांग्रेस पार्टी, ये आरोप है आपका?
मेरा कहने का मतलब है नेशन फर्स्ट, पार्टी सेकंड, इंडिविजुअल थर्ड। जो रोहिंग्या का मामला है, इसके ऊपर में सारे देश को मिलकर करके इनके विरुद्ध में हमें कार्य करना चाहिए।
आपके मंत्री ने ही आज कंफ्यूजन क्रिएट की है ना, कांग्रेस कहीं और से ही कंफ्यूजन नहीं हुई है।
सिर्फ एक ट्वीट की आड़ में अगर राजनीति करती है तो मुझे कांग्रेस की बुद्धि पर तरस आता है।
एक ट्वीट की आड़ पे आदिल सिंह बोपारा, you want to respond to that? They are saying you've just picked up a tweet and this entire controversy has been created. It's political in nature.
महा, ये पूरी सरकार ट्वीट पे चलती, ये पूरी सरकार इवेंट मैनेजमेंट पे चलती, and the BJP indeed has a 3D policy, and that 3D policy is of deceive, divide and distort. कांग्रेस पार्टी क्या कह रही है? आपके अर्बन डेवलपमेंट मिनिस्टर ने एक ट्वीट किया है, एक स्टेटमेंट दी।
आसाम एकॉर्ड में क्या डी थे?
उत्तेजन ना होइए स्वामी जी, Maha, you'll have to intervene. I don't want to speak over this gentleman. I think it is very clear.
You don't know about the Assam Accord.
प्रमोद स्वामी जी आपके पास आएंगे, एक मिनट उनको अपनी बात खत्म कर लेने दीजिए, फिर आपके पास भी आएंगे, अभी हमारे पास समय है। प्रमोद स्वामी जी, आदिल
Mr.
सिंह
Swami,
बोपरा
now
को
hear
बोले।
me out. Please don't interrupt. Please extend me the same courtesy. You don't know the A of the Assam Accord. So please don't point fingers at me or the Congress party.
What is the D of the
Please
Assam
hear me
Accord?
out, sir. Why are you getting anxious?
You please
Why
tell
are
me.
you getting anxious?
What are
Hear
the
me out.
three D of the Assam Accord? You please tell
Very
me.
well, very well.
What
Then
are the
speak on
three
your
Ds?
turn. Speak on your turn. Speak on your turn. Please behave yourself, sir. Please have etiquettes. You seem to be a reasonable individual. Now, coming to the issue at hand.
When you are saying lying, when
प्रमोद
you are
स्वामी जी,
lying on the television.
आपके पास वापस आएंगे, उनको उनका पॉइंट बोल लेने दीजिए, फिर आपके पास आएंगे। गो अहेड।
Well, Maha, according to the BJP's loose lexicon, now let's take the BJP's own lexicon. Any person who makes any statement, even remotely supportive of the Rohingyas, is an anti-national. This is the BJP's stated position. Here you have the urban development minister wanting to give them residences and 24/7, 365 days security. So what would that make this urban development minister? According to the BJP lexicon, that would make the urban development minister, according to the BJP lexicon, an anti-national. I'm not saying this. This is the BJP's stated position from their official podium. The Congress party has a very simple statement. There is no politicization here. It just shows that your government does not consult amongst itself before it comes out with the policy decision.
All right.
This is what it demonstrates.
Okay, प्रमोद स्वामी, इन शब्दों का इस्तेमाल किया गया है, बीजेपी ने किया है इन शब्दों का इस्तेमाल रोहिंग्यास के लिए, घुसपैठी, कीड़े मकोड़े, इन सब शब्दों का इस्तेमाल किया गया है। और आज आपके मिनिस्टर कह रहे हैं कि उनको यहां पर शरणार्थी का स्टेटस दिया जाएगा। तो फिर इसको कंफ्यूजन ना कहें तो क्या कहें? उनको अपनी पार्टी का स्टैंड तो पता होगा।
देखिए, इसमें दो बातें हैं। शरणार्थी के
All right, we seem to be losing Pramod Swami's audio there. We'll go back to him in just a bit. We are also being joined by the Aam Aadmi Party spokesperson, Siddharth. Siddharth, what would you say about this confusion that has come about? And now it appears that the BJP is also alleging that the Aam Aadmi Party has been using this issue for vote bank politics. How do you respond to that?
Yeah, I'll respond to it in the two sections that you have specifically asked. So section number one, the BJP government doesn't know what the right hand is doing. The left hand doesn't seem to know what the right hand is doing. In the morning, the Urban Development Minister, the Honorable Urban Development Minister of the central government of the Modi government, says that Rohingyas are refugees. That is his tweet. That is a very clear tweet that Rohingyas are refugees. A few hours later, the Honorable Home Minister says that the Rohingyas are illegal migrants. So the BJP has to clarify itself whether they consider Rohingyas as illegal migrants or they consider Rohingyas as refugees. Because if they consider Rohingyas as refugees, then why hasn't India been a signatory to the Refugee Convention of the United Nations? That's the question. I think you have to ask, the anchor has to ask the BJP spokesperson that if India is not a signatory to the United Nations Refugee Convention, how does the Urban Development Minister, the Honorable Minister of the Modi government, the Modi Cabinet Minister, considers the Rohingyas as refugees? Now, as far as the second question is concerned, the BJP, Aam Aadmi Party has been very clear. Its stand has been unequivocal that Rohingyas, since India is not a signatory to the Refugee Convention, in Delhi, already bursting at the seams because of the population of Delhi, these kind of illegal migrants are not allowed in Delhi. Aam Aadmi Party has been very clear to it. And now what the BJP seems to have been doing is that once they've been caught with literally the pants down here, because the one arm of the government doesn't know what the other arm of the government is doing, they are trying to put the hot potato in the hands of the Aam Aadmi Party. The Aam Aadmi Party has been very clear. Where they want to relocate the Rohingyas, it falls under NDMC. NDMC falls under the central government. Whatever they have done, when they say Delhi government, they are very intelligent in using the word as Delhi government. Have they spoken to the elected chief minister or his cabinet in Delhi? No. regarding the relocation of Rohingyas in the EWS quarters? No. They consider Delhi as the Lieutenant Governor.
But Siddharth, the Ministry of Home Affairs, the tweet that they have put out, in that they are saying that the government of Delhi has not declared the present location as a detention center. If you hold the same view as the BJP about the status of the Rohingyas, then should it be declared a detention center? That's what they are asking.
I think you and I are on the same consistent page that when the central government quotes the Delhi government, it means the Lieutenant Governor. It doesn't mean the elected Chief Minister or his cabinet or the Vidhan Sabha of Delhi. So in this issue, they have not spoken to the elected government of Delhi on any occasion regarding this. And Aam Aadmi Party is very clear that Delhi is not for illegal migrants. That has been very clear. Our stand has been very clear, unequivocal for years together. This is not welcome. The question here the anchor has to ask the BJP is, why does the Modi government consider Rohingyas as refugees, as per Mr. Hardeep Singh Puri's tweet, or do they consider Rohingyas as illegal migrants as per the Home Ministry?
They have already
tweet?
answered that question. They are saying the Ministry of Home Affairs stand is the stand of the government and not what Hardeep Singh Puri tweeted out this morning. This is what Pramod Swami has said on the show.
That means that the right hand doesn't know what the left hand is doing. That means that the right hand doesn't know what they are doing. One thing, very pertinent point here, very interesting thing is that just last week in Cambodia, Mr. Anthony Blinken, the US Secretary of State, and the Indian Foreign Minister have met, and they have spoken about Burma. We think there is a very high possibility here that there might have been some deal about Burma, under which pressure the central government is trying to relocate these.
We'll have to see how the story develops further, because the government had made its stand pretty clear since the beginning that they want these people deported back to Myanmar. That's what they had said initially. Many thanks to all three of you for joining us here on the show.